Hello, and thank you for joining me today. It's Amy Bolton with Live Healthy, Be Happy. I am joining you today to talk about nourishing newborn mothers, so Ayurvedic recipes to heal the mind, body, and soul after childbirth. So this is really exciting. This is a really interesting topic to me. I love nutrition, I love food. And with Ayurveda, I don't know if you've heard of Ayurveda, but it's a very diverse philosophy, I guess you could call it. And there's so much to it. Nutrition is just one part of it. I don't know if you may have heard of our doshas. So our doshas are our energy types that we have in Ayurveda. You may have heard of that. So there's Pitta, Vata, and Kapha are the three energy types. So we all have part of them, and some of us have one more dominant than the other. So that can affect our nutrition levels. And so when we are pregnant, our energy is much more kind of hot and warm, like you imagine a pregnant woman is full of like all this extra water and earth and all these elements and more fire, all this extra blood. So she's experiencing much different energy levels than a woman who has just given birth, a newborn mother. And I'm sure a lot of you watching this have experienced childbirth, because that's generally who I'm speaking to, is people who are postpartum. So I'm sure you can relate to that. Let me know in the comments if you do, that difference in that energy that we experience from pregnancy to postpartum. It's vastly different. So in Ayurveda, a lot of the nutrition is based on bringing that balance back into those doshas or those energies. So this is a cookbook from Julia Jones. So I just did my postpartum doula training with Julia, and she's amazing. So we're gonna put the link in the comments here for you guys, so that you can see, you can get a copy of this through Amazon through my link. So if you're able to do that, that would be great. I'll show you a little bit about this book. So it's quite amazing how Julia does this, and there's a lot of really good information in this book. It's quite wonderful. So part one goes through the philosophy and the different ingredients that are used in Ayurvedic cooking, and it explains a bit about what it's like to be a newborn mother and postpartum as a new mom, and just talking about planning postpartum. And this is something that I'm working on getting more specialized in with my programs with my new mothers, is planning that postpartum journey, and with my prenatal clients. So all of my prenatal clients at work is really focusing on that postpartum plan. Yeah, it's great to focus on birth. It's great to have a bit of a birth plan and kind of know what's going to happen, but that's such a small piece of the puzzle. Julia has a quote in here about a newborn mother. It says, "A recently born mother whose strength is asking for help. She acknowledges that the birth of a mother is more intense than childbirth, and that she is as sensitive and as vulnerable as her baby. Her heart is wide open and her needs are high. As she nourishes herself, she nourishes her child." So, as she says, the birth of a mother is more intense than childbirth. So becoming a new mother is so huge, right? And this supports you through that journey, this cookbook here. And there's so much in it. It starts out, like I said, with the philosophy and all of the spices. She's got all of the different spices listed and all of the vegetables, and she's made it quite simple, understanding that as a newborn mother, our cognition isn't as sharp as it was, because what we're focused on is love. We're focused on that building that oxytocin and bonding with our baby, right? Our main goals as a new mother is to be breastfeeding and to be learning to breastfeed, because it is something that we need to learning to breastfeed and bonding with our child, right? And so those should be the only focuses of a new mother. And so she makes this quite simple for us. And in the beginning, like I say, she goes through all of this, the philosophy, etc. And then she goes into the recipes. And the recipes are beautiful. And throughout the recipes, the way she's laid it out is the first 10 days. So the first 10 days postpartum, she has some suggestions on what your body needs to be supported postpartum during those first 10 days. And my kitty is attacking my papers. Let him come and say hi. He's been attacking me all morning, and he thinks this book is fun to play with. So I'll let him say hi. Yes, so it starts out with the first 10 days, and of course, let me know if you can relate, but the first following birth, we are craving so many sugars and sweets and things because we need that to fuel our body back up, right? We need all of that, and we are craving so many calories because we're needing to generate that milk to produce that milk to feed our baby and to nourish our babies, right? So there's a lot in here that's bringing back to heal you and bring you all of that energy to start healing, right? So we go through all of that, and the really neat thing in this cookbook is the fact that she also has thrown in here information about anemia, colic, reflux, sleep deprivation, things like postpartum depression, right? So there's information in here on foods that will help with all of these types of things. Back pain, sciatica, those types of things. And she also has information on constipation, low milk supply, cracked, sore, or bleeding nipples, mastitis, blocked milk ducts, and oxytocin. So that's all included in throughout this recipe book, which is really, really beautiful and really helpful. And this is a beautiful gift for a new mother who is expecting. It's just really well laid out and very simple and very easy to follow. And there's beautiful giant pictures. I know mine is just a printed version right now. But like there's giant beautiful pictures in here and little tips for you. And it's just great. It's all based, like I say, on the Ayurvedic principles to heal your mind, body, and soul. And like I say, it goes through the first 10 days and then 10 to 3 weeks all the way till 6 weeks postpartum. And it's very helpful. So 3 to 6 weeks it talks a bit about postnatal depression on page 58. So I'll take a look at that because I know that's where we focus so much on. And then there's, as I was talking, so while I'm here I'll show you. This is the little table that is explaining, I'm not sure you see that there, the different flavors that are associated with different elements. So earth, air, fire, water, space, and air. So postpartum we're feeling more kind of spacey and airy, and I'm sure you can relate after you've gotten rid of all that earth, that water, that fluid, all of those other elements, that heat that you were experiencing through pregnancy, you get more airy, more spacey, and we need to replenish all of those other elements to remain that balance, right? And that's how Ayurveda looks at that. And so those are the different flavors that will bring you more of that earth and fire. And as you can see, earth and water are sweet right on the bottom. So those are going to be the biggest elements that we'll be focusing on postpartum, especially within the first 10 days. So I was going to read out page 50, sleep deprivation. So that's a big one. There's a whole section on sleep deprivation in here, and the different foods that help with that. I know that's a big one for new moms. And just some general tips too. It's not just about nutrition. There's lots of really good tips. As I said, Julia Jones is a postpartum doula herself, and she's worked with lots of moms and supported them through their journey postpartum. Okay, so I just love this book. Okay, so in the postnatal depression, so she talks a bit about that, and commonly used for a range of postpartum mood disorders, including postnatal psychosis, post-traumatic stress disorder. Interestingly, postnatal anxiety is thought to be the most common. But isn't that interesting, right? We don't talk about that a lot, but Julia's bringing that to light, that anxiety is the most common, and we do find that is becoming more and more common. But frequently takes longer to be diagnosed or doesn't get diagnosed at all. All these mental health problems require different treatments, so please see a doctor or referral to a specialist. The latest research is finding that fathers may experiencing postpartum mood disorders at the same rates as mothers, but they are not being screened or diagnosed. So this is huge too. And what commonly happens is after a woman has experienced postnatal depression, postpartum depression, what happens is she recovers, she gets stable and balanced, and then what happens is often fathers are experiencing it right following that. And that's something to be aware of, is as you're getting better, as you're feeling better, is to pay attention to your partner, because that's very common that they will start to fall into that as well, because he's holding things together for so long, and then may fall into that. So education during pregnancy significantly decreases the trauma and impact of postnatal mood disorders. I urge you to sit down with your partner and familiarize yourself with the symptoms of common postnatal mood disorders, and discuss what you will do if you recognize some of the symptoms in each other in the weeks and months after your baby is born. So yeah, she's just explaining how that all works, and yeah, and there's lots of different tips on foods and things. It's just a beautiful cookbook. So if you are interested in getting those recipes, or if you'd like to chat with me more about it, let me know. Send me a message either on Facebook or in the comments, or if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to leave a message in the comments as well, and I will most definitely get back to you. Thank you for joining me today, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.